Gentlemen, so you know what time it is. It is time for the late night celebrity show. Today I'm super excited because tonight's show is termed the legendary interview. Tonight it's all about legendariness, if that's even a word. Because tonight we are honored to have in our studios, by all standards, by all levels, and by all acclamations. I have a legend in the studio right now. And ladies and gentlemen, I don't want to say much because there's much to talk about, there's much to know, and there's much to learn. So let's just set the ball rolling. And ladies and gentlemen, help me introduce my guest tonight. He actually, let me give you some of his accolades. So he started a Ghana Actors Guild. He has started his own acting school. He has his own drama troupe, as well as concert party. He is currently the National Film Authority chairman. Oh. Ladies and gentlemen, so we have here Mr. David Dontoh, the man with the many AKs, aka Ghana man, aka Abrohini, aka Kofi Abrantie. Oh, I don't know about the electric one.
Oh. Hey, it's not the Jaya.
Yeah, it's like you have different AKs at every role you play. How do you feel when you have people call you by your stage name or your character name?
You have to respond because they're only acknowledging you for what you've done that has, emotionally struck a chord in them, because they believe that in reacting or relating to you on that level, you will understand them why they are hailing you.
Okay. So then that means that they actually, you actually acted your role very well.
Oh yes. It's always like that. When you play a role and you live the role, so to speak, people enjoy the role, people hail you, and the character stays with them for a long time. I remember there was this man in Koforia who watched me. We played a role that was the Kofi Abrantie.
Okay.
It was the title was The Rivals. And this man watched it, and the element of the story was his own life story.
Okay.
He had a wife, and he had a girlfriend.
Okay.
And he would buy the same cloth, give half piece to the wife, give half piece to the girlfriend. And the two of them went and clashed at the seamstress.
Okay.
And that's how they discovered each other. That they were being run by Kofi Abrantie. And the two of them plotted, came to the man's house and beat him.
Okay.
So the man came from Kofodia to Accra. Whoa. He came and said he didn't find me. Apparently, he had come to watch Mambo. I played in Mambo at the Art Center. And then, as he watched the play, he said, this man looks like Kofi Abrantie. Those days they called me Ghana man.
Yeah.
This man looks like Ghana man. But Ghana man, as for him, he speaks Twi. He doesn't speak English. So after the production, the man came and said, excuse me, please forgive me, but I just want to find out. Do you know Kofi Abrantie or Ghana man? I said, I'm the same person. he just could not contain his excitement.
Wow.
He said, come, let me get you some beer. What else will you drink?
So, ladies and gentlemen, my guest is, now we will call him Uncle David, or we can call him Doctor as well, because I read your bio and it was very interesting and very exciting. But for the sake of my viewers, people might think that, they got to know David Dontoh out of the blue, but probably take us through the story, maybe in a summarized way. How did it happen? Because I knew you wanted to be a pilot, a doctor, and then you realized so many things, and then it ended here.
That's quite interesting because first of all, at school I was good in both the arts and the sciences. I happen to be the best geography student
Yeah, I
in
was told
Ghana.
you could actually draw the
World
globe.
map.
Yeah.
From memory.
Do you still have it?
Yeah.
Hey. Wow.
You know, so when those days, because we were doing O level and then A level, before O level, you have to decide whether you will do arts, science, or business. Business, you do accounting, economics, those kind of subjects.
Okay.
Yeah, that's right. So, but because those days, if you were a science student, they considered you up there.
Yeah, you were held in high
So
esteem.
I decided to do science because all my mates were doing. The chief justice, was my mate. He was doing arts and I was doing science. When we came to sixth form, yeah. So when I decided to do science, my father said, "Okay, you told me you want to be a doctor." Actually, that story of wanting to be a doctor came up when, schooling in Winneba.
Okay.
Myself and a couple of boys in our house went and stole some mangoes from a certain man's house. And that man, we will call him Abodjise. The man was such a wicked man. He cannot go and steal mango and run away. So we jumped the gates. He was not in the house. We jumped the gates, went to the house, went and stole mangoes. And then we were inside there when we heard that the man was coming. So we had to scale the wall, jump and land at the back of the wall. And then one of the boys that we went with landed on broken bottles. And the bottle slashed his palm like this. Wow. And can you believe it? I used thread, black thread, and needle to suture the gash in the palm.
Hey.
Yeah.
Without any training?
Without any training. And then, fortunately for us, there were 2 male nurses who were living in our house. And the boy, he hid it. He actually had this sweater. He pulled the sleeve arm, and he hid it for about 2, 3, 4 hours. But, pain, you can't hide pain. So the parents saw it and then they asked him what happened. Then he had to narrate the story. And then they pulled the thing and they said, "Hi, who did this?" So Ato did it. Yamato.
Okay.
They said, and he did this with you. Then they went and called the male nurse to come and have a look at it. So the male nurse came, they took us to Winneba Hospital. Then the doctor, on duty said, the way he's been sutured is so good, we won't do anything into it. We'll just, sanitize it, we'll put all those things in it. And then leave it. After 2 weeks, you should come back for us to see whether we can, So they injected the arm, they gave him some medicines, whatever, bandaged the hand. We went home. After 2 weeks when we went, they just cut the sutures and removed it, and the thing was done. So my house at Winneba, they were calling me doctor. So my father said, since, you have performed so well as a surgeon, then why don't you do medicine?
Yeah.
So the idea struck me. But because I was so good in geography, and I was also doing science. Geography, piloting is geography, physics, and maths.
Okay.
So some guys were talking about, why don't you go and do piloting? Why don't you And those times, interestingly, we were about, I think, 11 or 12. Only one girl who were doing science in sixth form.
Whoa.
And the boys, one wanted to be a nuclear physicist, one wanted to be a dentist, one wanted to be something. I wanted to be a medical doctor. We had such high, aspirations. So one of them said, okay, I would prefer if you could do piloting, because I was the best geography student. From Form 5, I was the best geography student in Ghana in 1975.
Wow.
The best geography student in Ghana. And second in West Africa. There was a Nigerian, I had 87.5%, and the Nigerian had 89%.
Ooh.
Yes. So they said, okay, why don't you become a pilot? But then I had fallen so much in love with the medicine, so I decided that, okay, then let me just drift.
Okay.
Forget about it. My tutor who was teaching me geography, he cried when I came
Wow.
to sixth form and I decided not to do geography, because
Hey.
he thought, my best student
Has ditched
has
geography.
but I and then unfortunately for me, Apam Secondary School was so good in the arts, so good in the arts. People from Adisadel, Augustine's, Achimota, and they were coming to copy Apam notes, arts notes, because if you get Apam notes, you can easily qualify to go and do law.
Okay.
So at that time, you go to law school, 75% of the students in the law school were from Apam Secondary School.
Wow.
And the Chief Justice is an old
Yeah.
Apam student.
Hey.
The former head, what do you call it? Director of school of, what do you call it? Is it? No, it's not law school. Yeah.
The law school.
The law school was
Also a former
Dr. Professor Nia Monkoti was from Apam Secondary School. The current Nene Amagache was my mate. He was doing arts, was from Apam Secondary School. We were all law students.
Wow.
And my own cousin was the best law student during Anna Bosman's time. He is a lawyer in the US since 1980.
And Apam there, yes, eh?
So people were coming to Apam to copy
Copy the
notes,
notes.
so that they could go and do, law and qualify and whatever. But those days, if you were a science student, you were
Yeah,
considered
champion.
Oga.
I told you there's a lot to learn and there's a lot to talk about. It's quite a history, So right back after this commercial break, and then we get talking about the arts in Ghana and then his role as a film authority chairman. Stay tuned, I'll be right back. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, you're still tuning to ETV Ghana, and this is the Late Night Celebrity Show. My guest is Mr. David Dontoh, the chairman for the National Film Authority. Look, I don't think this interview, 1 hour is enough for it, because there's a lot to talk about. And even during the break, interview no secret. But then let's come to today, about the state of the arts.
Yeah.
You've been like a pioneer. I would say you are part of the pioneers. You are a founding father. Today you're a legend. You've done everything from stage to TV. You're a scriptwriter. You're a poet. You're a sculptor. A sculptor.
That's right.
What do you think is the state of the arts today?
The state of the arts today is in a flux. I would say in a flux. Flux means everything is in space, floating.
Yeah.
There's no focus. There's no, shall I say, any effort at pulling them together in their various categories and giving them the necessary push and energy they need to really make the impact they're supposed to make in developing this country. You see, we, as a country, we don't even know the role that entertainment plays in the development of the country. It's a paradigm that we have just thrown away somewhere. But that is actually the key, because, what makes the man is the mind. That makes the man. And our work is what changes the mind, is what trains the mind, is what makes the mind fall for or against any idea, any philosophy, anything that makes society tick. But we don't see it as a priority. And for some strange reason, I have been fortunate to have encountered virtually every government since independence. I had the opportunity of meeting Kwame Nkrumah and shaking his hand.
Okay, I think that's when you began to look like him, and then you started playing.
And about a month and 3 days or so after that, he was overthrown. My father was working with him at Ideological Institute at Winneba. And I had been brought from Cape Coast. I was with my mother in Cape Coast. My father was working in Winneba, and my father brought me to Winneba to live with him. And then he took me to his office, to show me around. But it was just one touch something. Then later, one day, I went to look for my father to get a key to go and open our whatever. And the security man put me in some long room. Kwame Nkrumah opened the door, saw me in there, and came in. He spoke French. So, Papa, by Wana, by Mr. Dontoh. Oh, Chiem. Then I shook his hand. You could school you. I used to that. In Sianza, he has Uncle Bibiao. Sianzi. Snaman could be out. Moving my friend, my catch and it's
Wow.
Yeah. And I had seen him before, I don't know, I think 2 or so years before, when the Duchess of Kent came to Ghana, came to Cape Coast, came to Victoria Park. And those days, as kids in schools, they gave us flags to go and stand by the roadside, and I we're supposed to wave the flags. And we're, opposite Victoria Park is the former Wesley Girls' School, before it moved to where it is now.
Yeah.
We moved, So we're standing there. And because there were so many adults also wanting to see Kwame Nkrumah, and it just, people were pushing and things like that. So people pushed us as kids. They pushed us, and I fell across the road, gutter into the road. And what do you call them?
The motor.
The dispatch riders or whatever.
Yeah.
The Moto Guzzi riders, whatever. He just held my hand and threw me back into the crowd. Otherwise, the car would have just have run over me.
Over you.
And that was the first time I saw Kwame Nkrumah from afar.
Wow.
And then, so when I saw him at Winneba, I said, that is the man. But before then, I had seen him one evening. Myself and my father were walking around Abasraba. There's a place in Winneba called Abasraba. Souffle House, from Mr. Nkum's house to Souffle House to Winneba Anglican Church. We were walking there, and my father told me, you see that man going? That is Kwame Nkrumah going. When it comes to Winneba, after parliamentary, whatever it is in Accra, then he will come to teach at the Ideological Institute.
Oh.
And then when he comes, he wears either normal trousers or shorts, togas, and then fugu. And he walks around town in night, but people don't see him. So my father was saying, that's Kwame Nkrumah going, that's Kwame Nkrumah. So I looked at him and said, is that him? But it was around 7:30 in the evening, and I couldn't see much of him.
Okay.
So he vanished.
Wow.
And then, I went and met him, shook his hand and all that. But I realized that man had a certain, love for this space. That is why he actually, in his time, put culture under the office of the president. That has actually been the bane of this, sector for all these years. Because once he put it under the office of the president, he decided he must do this, he want that. He formed the Uhuru Dance Band, he formed the Brigade Concert Party, he had a surgical players, his own theater group. Wow. And could you imagine, the guy will go to parliament, finish parliament, come and sit in their rehearsal, do post-mortem after rehearsal with them. Oh my goodness. Come on. Because he himself was an actor. Yeah. He taught at Elmina Roman Catholic School. And he was actually the teacher in charge of those days. We have what we call the cantatas and the minstrel choir and those things. They were doing these plays for Christmas and he was the master in charge. He was acting with the kids.
Wow.
So he was actually someone so interested in acting himself. Unfortunately for him, he also trained in America. 10 years he was, training in America. And America is the home of film and theater and whatever, So he had so much love for it and decided that, no, this is one area I should be able to develop. And that's what he sought to do by putting culture under the office of the president. And he did so much that in his 7-year development plan, It was going to build a theater in every district in this country. Unfortunately, it didn't happen because it was overthrown, just 3 or 4 years into the execution of that 7-year development plan.
So currently, with what's happening now, with regards to movies, it looks like when it comes to entertainment, it's only limited to music, sometimes the movies. So now let's come to your role as a National Film Authority chairman. What is it really that the authority is about, or what are they doing to help the film industry?
Yes, before the last government went out of power, that is, President Mahama's government, they passed the Film Act, Act 935, and it was supposed to be for film, to just make sure that film took its rightful place in the development paradigm of the country. So it was passed. But unfortunately, all that while until 2020, 2019, December, that the current president, Dontoh inaugurated the Film Authority. And the statutory members of the board, all the reps of the stakeholder associations or agencies, Actors Guild, producers, copyright, this, that, were all members of the association. And then they made me the chairperson of the Film Authority. And the Film Authority, is supposed to be able to look at the space, look at the culture space, the art space, the film space, to regulate and be able to help with production and all other things that will go a long way to really lift this thing. Unfortunately, there are certain condiments that should actually come to get us moving, which are not yet in place, unfortunately. But I believe, it takes time. It takes time, because I've had the occasion to express my misgivings about how our system works too slowly. The bureaucracy in our public service is so slow, so slow. It's most unfortunate, but that is actually the reality. And so because of that, till date as we speak, we don't have an office. We are still working on getting an office. We don't have equipment. We don't have a vehicle. We are yet to employ staff, So, and Film Authority, we are in charge of the classification. We are in charge of this, we are in charge of that, and we are not in a position to be able to do anything because what you need to work with is not there, unfortunately.
Then why is it inaugurated if it's not?
Well, quote unquote, ask politics.
Let's shift from there and come to our movie industry. I mean, thank God recently the cinemas have been partially opened, and now we are getting a lot of films. The issue now is how our films can cross the borders of Ghana to the international world. What is our films lacking, or what are our films lacking that we can't get our films like that across?
It's a long story. And the long story is that a film is a fine art. And it's at the apex, it's the climax of all the arts. The literary arts, the visual arts, the performing arts, they all enter the pot where we have film as a fine art. Now, because the grassroots, or the roots for that matter, of all of this is not dynamic enough, is not functioning, it affects the very top. If you realize 15, 20, 25 years back, if you look at the film industry, most of the actors who were featuring were actors who were doing theater, who were doing television theater, who were doing radio theater, and all those things, you know, and these are people who were trained.
Yeah.
And you see, film, we call it the finest, what do you call it? Finest something something limitless medium. Finest images, limitless medium.
Okay.
Now, it means that all those who work to put film together, to make film really tick, must be people who have actually, you know, gone through the mill.
Process, yeah.
You know, you know your movement, you know your voice range, you know your, you know, speech, you know all those elements that make film tick. You should have them to be able to make film what film should be. So you realize that when that generation went off, you know, Abil Kai, Solo Sampa, Edina Matachi, William Ado, myself, you know, Grace Notte, Grace Omabo, and all those people. When they went off, the next generation, they were, you see, they were talented, but they had no training in theater. And for that reason, there were certain things that they were missing to make it look that good. That aside, the infrastructure or you know, the facilities or the amenities were not there. People were not being, you know, given any support. We have scholarship secretariat in this country, but they give scholarship to people to go and train in agric, in medicine, in engineering, in whatever. They never give actors, musicians, dancers, writers, but Kwame Nkrumah was doing it. Kwanzaa went and did set design in California. Kofi Renchi, T.H. Daniels, whatever. Some went to Poland, some went to India, some went to UK to train as film directors, as that, you know. George Wilson, Sophia Loco, Adlida Magache, Cobnan London, and all those people were taken to London School of Drama, you know, to train, to prepare them, because they realized that you needed a certain foundation to really get the people moving in a direction that will help the destiny, you know, put the thing together. GBC had all the facilities. GBC was doing radio theater. I did radio theater with the late Charlie Sam, the late James Amati, Theodora Pareado, or I think so. You know, a whole lot of them.
Wow.
You know, and all those people. We did TV theater. And TV theater, you know, remember those days we had what we call Get Involved. Sakisowa was writing for Get Involved, where Abiyokai, Sulu Sampa, Edna Matachi, Mauli Semevo, and all those people were doing radio theater. You know, when it come to concert party, they were doing telecove. When it come to Akan television drama, there was Osofo Dazi, then Keteke and Obra, and, and then Intiasie and whatever, and all those things came on. So the system was dynamic. And that is what you need as the base, because that is where the whole impetus of the industry grows from, so that you can now, from that point, be able to pick people so good enough to do all these things. It's no longer there.
Let me pause for a quick commercial break and then we'll come back. It's getting interesting. Send your messages on WhatsApp to 0202222054 and I'm going to read them. Stay tuned, I'll be right back after this. You're a superstar. You just caught me right there. I told you conversation, but then send your messages to 0202222054. It's interesting here. Daddy, let's concerning the arts, you were talking about training and etc. We have the School of Performing Arts. University Education of Winnipeg has the arts department, Cape Coast University as well.
Even tech.
Yes. But I want to lay the emphasis on the School of Performing Arts because it's like the mother of all. In your own way, would you say the School of Performing Arts has failed in its role in promoting the arts or making the arts stand? Because, you know, a science student can go with a degree in science or in medicine and will be employed. But a certificate in theatre from the School of Performing Arts. Like one will ask, I mean, I'm quite acting, I mean, because there are no acting groups, or someone will tell you that. I remember someone telling me he went for an interview and they told him, say, you are not coming to act here.
You know, that is the height of ignorance, you know, to make such a comment. But you see, the truth of the matter is that there is a certain disconnect.
Okay.
There are no bridges between academia and the public or general society, for that matter. School of Performing Arts trains people in music, in dance, in drama. And these people have all what it takes to do everything that you can think of in the area of theater. Because theater actually happens to be the basis of all the entertainment industry. Because we have radio theater, we have television theater, we have stage theater. You know, even film, we say is theater on screen and things like that. These are people who have what it takes and the understanding and the knowledge of how to present, you know, material that will engage people's attention through all the means that they have, including suspense and all those things. But what we normally do is, people go to the school, finish the school, and they come out of the school to go and work where? Formally, some of them will come to GBC. You know, a few of them will go to schools to teach literature and then try to do schools dramas and things like that. And then the rest, some get employed in prison service, police service, some go to do nursing, some, you know, go and work in the banks. I learned some of the banks even, you know, place premium on students who have trained at performing arts, because they think they have better customer relationship and things like that. But you see, the disconnect is that, you see, when they train the students, I think the final year that the students are in the school, there should be that link. When I was president of ASPA at the school,
Association of School of Performing
Arts, that's right. You know, I've managed to secure British Council. I went and spoke to them and, you know, talked to them, because we did the Master Harold and the Boys by Arthur Fugard, and went and did it there. And the British Council director at that time fell in love with it and said, you are from Performing Arts at Lagos? I said, yes. Oh, okay. You know what? We can arrange for you every month from, you know, the last weekend of the month, from Thursday to Sunday, your best production from the school. We'll give you the place for free. Come and perform this thing here. I secured the GBC broadcasting also, because we did the play that I did. We did also at GBC, you know, with Neo Kwe. I've forgotten their names, my goodness. You know, so that as the students are in the school, before they even pass out, they started that link with the public. And you see, when you finish, you are not going to perform at the university. You're going to the wider public and perform with the wider public. But you see, the advantage I had, fortunately for me, was that I was performing before I went to the school. I had actually won Best Actor Award 84 before I went to the school 85.
Oh, so you went there a star.
Oh yeah, I was. You know, and I had that good to me.
Oh,
you know, before I went to the school. And you see, once you know, there's that link between you and the school. Because I remember when I was in the school, I was hosting an encyclopedia at the Art Center. I was doing Obra on television, and Obra was doing a roadshow touring the country, performing like normal concert parties.
Wow.
I was doing TV theater. Those days it was called Story House, with the late Ajoab Nkwado Dumi, she rest in peace. You know. And so it was like there was I had a certain linkage because at Nancy Chrome, for instance, that I was doing, because it's variety, we're doing acrobatics, we're doing juggling, we're doing poetry, we're doing concert party, we're doing cultural drumming and dancing, we're doing conventional theater, we're doing dance band, music and dance. All these together as a variety entertainment program. Currently, Accra, as a capital city of this country, does not have weekend variety entertainment. We don't have it, which is bad. Which is bad,
I want
bad,
to say
bad.
the pubs and then the...
No, pubs are pubs. What happens at pubs? Just drinking and listening to music. But tourists and visitors, and guests, people who come to the city, they want to see the people of Ghana, how they behave, how they think, how they project the ideas into the future by watching their theater, which doesn't happen, unfortunately. But all these things, they should happen, and I expect the School of Performing Arts to be able to really build those bridges such that performing arts, National Theatre started what we call the Theatre Week.
Yeah.
Something week.
Theatre Week.
Theatre Week. So theatre groups in town
groups
will be there. Performing arts students will also come.
Yeah.
They will run, performances
Different
at the
days,
National Theatre, and they interact. And
The
also
theatre festival.
theatre festival. Yeah, that's actually what grew into the theatre festival. It's no longer there. Performing arts, every
Weekend.
every weekend
there's
people
production,
present
yeah.
their projects, plays that they've done. It should appear on television. It should come to the National Theatre. People should really come and see. There are people who are in the system, as in the ordinary people who have not been to performing arts. They need to learn from those people because they have had the training. So once they have had the training, it's good for them to perform, for them to see that, hey, this is how you comport yourself backstage, this is how you stay in the wing, this is how you come on stage, this is how, so that even presentation, projection, all those elements of theater, they will learn from those people. And that's what we're doing at that time. So, for instance, we do a production. I remember when we went to Moscow, 1985, for World Youth Festival. There was this African experience that I played Kwame Nkrumah. That was the first time I played Kwame Nkrumah. African experience. And it was a mixture of performing arts students, ordinary, people in the normal, public theater groups in town, and even some of the tutors were all part of that production. That admixture of those people, is sharing of ideas, sharing of experiences, sharing of knowledge, and get people to really learn and know so many things before, they present to the public. We don't do that.
Yeah.
And performing arts, I believe, should actually have what it takes to encourage the public. Because a lot of people find university intimidating. So some find it difficult to come to the Efo Sutherland Drama Studio to come and watch plays. And that is why every play that you do there, I secure British Council, bring it to British Council, put it on Ghana television, and let people see what you do, just so that that bridge will be built. That bridge will be there for people to really, it's not there. And so because of that, people go to the school, they finish the school, they have no experience of performing, and you'll be surprised when I finished the school. My certificate was held for 1 year because, and the excuse was for being interested in work outside the university. Can you imagine? How can an actor confine yourself to a place?
Wow.
That's it, you see? And it's not helping the school. The school must actually, so to speak, grow out of that culture of keeping everything there in the school.
It should come out.
It should come out. I remember there was one time we were doing Abdallah's Alien King, and
Yeah.
I was playing, I think, Ada. I played both Ada and Kumbaru,
Yeah.
which were the two lead roles in Alien King. And I played the first night. And the second night, my understudy was supposed to play. And that time, they were doing Inditech 86.
Okay.
And I came to perform with Obra at Trade Fair. And we didn't finish early enough. I was not performing anyway, but I wanted to still be part of the people backstage and all of that. So I finished and came backstage. When I came, I drove all the way to, the top there of, we were performing at amphitheater.
Yeah.
I drove all the way to the top there, stopped there. I was looking at the performance going on. I said, oh, I wish I was. And the guy, I forgot who it was. Oh, may he rest in peace. You are sorry. You are sorry. He was playing Sanusi or something.
Okay.
And somebody was playing some role, and the person who actually was playing, I think I played Ada at that time. The person who was playing Ada was not that very good. And I learned, Abdallah was there, Dr. Muhammad Ben Abdallah. He wrote that play.
Yeah.
So he was there. And he couldn't believe that. Where is David? Why can't David come?
God.
And I was not there. They could not find me. But when I came, I was sitting in a car, and I didn't let them see me that I had come over.
Yeah.
But I was not performing anyway. But they wanted me to be.
Come and play.
Wow.
You see. Let me pause and go for a quick one when I come back. It's so interesting, like so interesting. I'll be right back. Stay tuned.
You're a superstar.
And still watching the late night celebrity show. Like I told you, a lot being discussed. Now let me just activate the phone line quickly so you can talk to Uncle David. So the phone-in segment is proudly sponsored by it's proudly brought to you by Dontoh Bitters, and Dontoh says that if you want to, perform very well, do your job very well, get Dontoh. Body pains, waist pains, Dontoh can help you do that, and then it also has this perfect smell, so soothing. Yeah, when one can say him, it's also made of plants and herbs in Ghana. Here, it's medicinal in nature, and actually, it's good for both sexes as well. So call me on 055. 565-7278, 055-565-7278. Uncle, so right now, currently, what's going on? What are you working on currently?
Okay, I'm now, as an actor, I actually have been acting. I've been doing films, I've been doing series. Currently, I'm in this Dede series on Aquaba Magic on DSTV. And then this upcoming 48 hours, film competition, also coming up.
48-hour film competition.
Yes. Kingsley, brought this idea. It's been happening in the U.S. and he's got the opportunity or whatever to bring it to Ghana. Unfortunately, if you do it and do it well, the next award, for the film competition will be done in Ghana. 48 hours. You have 48 hours. They give you 4 elements, the genre, the character, the prop, and the line of dialogue. And you're supposed to do a film of 4 to 7 minutes in 48 hours.
Wow.
Yeah. And you call it the adrenaline will ooze.
You need to actually bring your A game on it.
Exactly.
Whoa.
Test your creative instinct. See how best you can create in 48 hours. Make a film.
Wow.
And I think it's something that is so good, so important to push, get some impetus into the industry and get people now to begin to understand that that is what film is all about. You need to be very creative. You need to be, at the top there. You need to have a cutting edge. You need to really understand what it is to make film and all of that. And that is what 48 hours around the world is all about.
How does one register?
www.48hourfilm.com. You just go there, /Accra. You see the Ghana one. Just register as a team and come.
Wow.
And
Is
you
it for
know,
free?
the registration? Oh, certainly not for free. Otherwise, you will get all riffraffs finding their way in there. We need to sieve the system. Get people who really mean business, who know their way about, who know what to do to be part of that thing, just to be part of it.
Uncle, our time is up. Our time is up. We have to. We have,
Oh, what a short.
we have to. Yeah, I mean, we will come back. We'll actually come for like a 5-hour thing. But
You
then
know, this is the
finally-
third time I've been on this show.
Yeah.
Yeah, with
Wow.
that lady who used to be at TV Africa.
Okay.
And
Rashida.
then Nikki Samonas,
Yeah.
is it? Is it
No,
Nikki
not
Samonas?
Nikki. I think Rashida, and then we had Leila also come. But then if it's Nikki,
You
then
know,
probably was a takeover thing.
I
Probably
think
a
so,
celebrity
huh?
takeover thing.
This is the third time I've been on this celebrity show.
Wow. It's nice to have you. So, ladies and gentlemen,
Oh,
be
my
a part of
goodness.
the 48 film
48
hour
hours.
film project.
Exactly.
Just log on to
It's a
www.
competition.
And then, yes, if you win, you get to present your movie.
And
outside
you have the
Ghana.
opportunity of going to Hollywood, you know.
Ooh.
That's it.
I'll come and register.
Hey.
So thank you for staying tuned. My name is Foster Romanus, and I was here with David Dontoh, the chairman for the National Film Authority. He's an actor. He's a songwriter, composer. We're supposed to talk about all those ones and all, but
Time will not
time will
permit.
not permit us. But he'll be back again. You have to bring him back again. Yes, so stay tuned. Up next is In Bed with Adrian. Good night and take care of it.